Hi everybody, I'm Bill Brennan, welcoming you to another edition of Honolulu on the Move, the show that brings you the latest news and information about the Honolulu Rail Transit Project. We're coming to you today from the Rail Operations Center, or ROC as we like to say, located out here in Waipahu, between Waipahu High School and Leeward Community College. It's been several months since we were last out here, and there's been so much progress and so much building going on that we want to share with you today. And we'll do that with HART's project manager for the Rail Operations Center, Mr. Akira Fujita.
Welcome to ROC, our Rail Operations Center. This used to be the former Navy drum site, and it was a hilly area. And look at it now, it's flat, and what we have behind us is our operations and maintenance building. And this building here is 144,000 square foot, and it will house the people that's going to be running the total system. It's controlled by here, and we have what is known as a control center. These people will be controlling the first automated driverless train in the history of the United States. And this yard will be the first automated driverless yard. So it's an important task that we're working on. And this building here is the main building of this facility. And as I stated, not only will we have the control center here, but this building will also maintain all of the trains that's going to be available for this project. So in other words, we'll be maintaining 80 trains on this site here, and this building here is going to be the home of the maintenance facility for all of the trains. So this is our big concern right now is finishing this on time, and we are on schedule to finish this building on time. Right now we're about 60% complete on this building and 70% complete on our total facility. So we're very proud of our accomplishment up to now. As you see, by looking at the building, all of the exterior work has been completed. So our remaining work is primarily in the interior of the building, and the reason we still have 40% of work to be completed is because of the change to an automated system. We have fantastic amount of electrical work to be done in the building. So these are the finishing products of the interior itself. This building here, if you look at it, you'll see supposedly a 4-story building, but in essence it is 2 stories and 2 mezzanine level. But it's an impressive structure by itself. So maybe if you have the opportunity, let's go up and see the interior of the building. The mezzanine level is mainly for storage of equipment, materials, and stuff that is needed for the operations of the Rail Operations Center and the Control Center. So we have a back section to this which will be entirely for storage purposes. So we're going to have a lot of equipment and stuff stored in this area. This is the Operations Center. This is the area that the employees that's working here control the whole operation of the total system right out of this room.
So they'll have like a big monitor board and all kinds of stuff like that.
It's going to be all computerized. They'll follow every train that's on the track itself. So it's a very, very important room.
Yes.
But they in turn have a beautiful view, and we're very proud of the building itself, the design of this building.
Yeah, this is very spectacular.
So when you have time, you come here and have coffee with us right here.
Yes.
Do you want to see the view from that side?
Yeah.
So you can see the tracks that's coming through the maintenance facility from here.
Right.
And you can see all the layout of the tracks itself. And what you see here also is, this is the main storage building facility right there on the west side of us. This is the maintenance area for the OSB building. And this is where all of the trains will be repaired if repair needs to be done or even serviced. On the right here we see the pits area where they raise the train and take the engines out, put a new one in, and bring it back down. These two tracks that we have here will be for the regular maintenance. They'll come up, they'll go underneath, look, see what the problems are before they repair it in that facility. So this is a very long part of the building. It's about 280 feet long, so it's almost the length of a football field. The reason for it is that we have a four-car set, which is going to measure about 260 feet in length. So it accommodates the whole set of trains in here while they are being repaired. So this is a very important part of this building itself, because they're responsible for the repair of all of the vehicles here.
That will happen day and night?
Yes, it's a 24/7 type of thing, and as I said earlier, we probably have about 200 people working in both the operational side and in the maintenance side of this building. What we have here is the laying of the track itself, and it's supported by 3 layers of ballast. What we consider as a sub-ballast, which is a sandy-looking material. Then we have the pre-ballast or pre-final ballast, which supports the rail itself, and we have the final ballast, which covers up the alley so that the tracks do not weave and move around. So these 3 ballast items are very important in the construction of the tracks itself. This is the maintenance away building, and it has an important function in the operations of our rock system. What it does is that these people that work in this building will be responsible for maintaining the tracks on the total guideway itself, and also maintain the stations themselves. So they have a very, very important function as far as the operation of a system is concerned. To do this, they will operate mainly on the track itself, mainly between midnight and 4 o'clock when the trains are not in operation. So they're going to be checking every foot of the track to assure that we have a safe system every day throughout the year. So they play a very important function in the operations of our total system.
What needs to be
Okay, as you can see, most of the exterior of the building has been completed. All the work that's remaining is in the interior, especially on the 2nd floor where the offices are going to be. So right now we have, last report we have is they're about 56% complete on this building. So our deadline, it'll meet our deadline as far as completion is concerned. And I want to tell you that right now, the total layout that we have here, both the buildings as well as the yard and utilities, walls, retaining walls, the bridges, etc., we're about 70% complete. And our deadline is to meet the scheduled deadline of the end of April of 2016. So we are on that schedule, and we hope to maintain that schedule.
Tell me what these tracks are over here that go in and out of this building.
Okay, these tracks are built to carry the equipment and material to check on the tracks itself during that dead period of 12 to 4 in the morning. So they're going to be, it's a different type of train. It's going to be those kind of train that they can carry material as well as equipment to maintain the tracks as well as the stations themselves.
In other news, the HART Board of Directors at its meeting last month received a report on the efforts to coordinate the rail system with bus and handy van operations to create an integrated multimodal public transportation system for Honolulu. Here's an update.
Periodically we give updates of the Heart and Saldo DTS OTS working group, and we're really, it just gives me an opportunity just to thank Mark Garrity very much. He's taken on this really challenging task of bringing together all of the various organizations. You know, people have heard me say this before. Our goal is that even though there's an alphabet soup of agencies and acronyms behind the delivery of Handyvan, bus, and soon to be rail, that our goal is to present one face to the public, one website, one fare card, and also to try to do what we can to recognize synergies among our organizations that will save money to the taxpayer by working together. And Mark's really taken this on to figure out how we can bring all of us together, and so this is his regular report.
Chair, if I can interrupt, just because I know the public's listening, when you say one fare card, you're obviously that fare card will have a bus-only potential. I mean, it's going to have multiple capacities of addressing our various communities. So it's not just, quote, one fare card. It's one card, but with multiple opportunities for service, right?
Right. It'll be, with the goal that it's one single card that'll get you on board Handyvan, bus, and rail.
And it's a seamless system for our riders.
Thank you, Vice Chair Horner. Mr. Garrity, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for asking me and for adding me to the agenda. My name is Mark Garrity, for the record, the Deputy Director of the City's Department of Transportation Services. Chair and board member, I appreciate the opportunity to come in and provide an update on the activities of the HART OTS DTS Working Group. That's its official name, but we do know it involves Ansaldo and a number of other agencies, which I'll mention. You're going to do it for me? Sorry about that. Thank you. So this group was formed in the spring of 2013, and it does include HART, OTS, DTS, Ansaldo, plus a number of other relevant agencies and organizations. We do meet regularly. We have a monthly standing meeting. In addition to that, there's several subgroups that have been formed that meet on a regular basis. And also, we do provide a forum for coordination and discussion of a lot of other activities that are taking place related to the rail project, as well as intermodal discussions. And I'll talk about some more of that stuff. But just as a recap, the purpose of the working group is to conduct research, prepare, present data, documentation, and identify opportunities for coordination as well as cooperation between various agencies such as HART, OTS, and DTS as it relates to a seamless intermodal operations. As Dan mentioned, really the purpose of this group is to brainstorm ideas for how to make this the best intermodal system we can possibly make it. Knowing that the bus is an existing organization, it's run very well by OTS. We're introducing a brand new mode onto the island, and we want to make sure that integration goes well in a many number of ways. Next, please. So there are many people who come to these meetings and who are involved in this overall effort to improve the efficiency of the system. As you can see here, they're listed: DTS, HART, OTS, DIT. Actually, our Department of Information Technology has been very crucial in helping us understand and how to make this better, present opportunities for things like the fiber network and things like that. Planning and permitting is involved. Ansaldo, of course, and then we have some involvement from our paratransit provider as well as other stakeholders and partners such as our fiscal service, budget and fiscal services. HCDA is a regular participant in the meetings. Navy comes occasionally. So there are a lot of partners out there that we hear from and that we're working with at various levels. Next, please. So some of the things I'm going to highlight today, some of the things that we've been working on and some of the things that recently that have been of note. And this list is not fully exhaustive. There's actually more than this, but I think many of these things are worth noting. That maintenance of traffic and mitigation are a regular discussion item. Bus rail integrated operations, so that means both near-term opportunities as well as the long-term planning for how bus and rail will be integrated. The electronic fare collection system, which was discussed earlier today a little bit, is a big part of our discussions. the IT communication systems integration from simple things like phone technology up to what kind of communications and computer systems and how they can be integrated. TOD is a regular discussion item of this group and how we can continue to support the ongoing transit-oriented development efforts that are happening. Rail station design coordination is another thing that we regularly discuss at these meetings. And in fact, what happens is there's often opportunities for collaboration between partners that may not show up at other meetings. So we found some good opportunities for discussions on that. Rail station access, I'm going to talk a little bit more about how we're trying to improve accessibility for pedestrians, bicyclists, transit riders, handy van riders, park-in riders, and drop-offs at the various stations. Wayfinding and signage, we've had several discussions about, and there are coordinated efforts going on, as well as opportunities to talk about website coordination, how we can possibly integrate in the future, and how we can coordinate in the near term the websites that do provide transportation information to people across Oahu. Next, please. I just wanted to provide an example of the maintenance of traffic and bus service mitigation efforts that are going on. You may be aware that because of all the construction activity on Kamehameha Highway in Aiea, we've actually altered some of our bus service through that area to provide more efficiency, and we've created a shuttle that is running along Kamehameha Highway, and we've actually diverted some of our longer range buses to avoid some of the traffic concerns. So we actually started this service a couple months ago, back in February, and it's been running well. We do tweak it occasionally, and we're always looking for opportunities to provide better bus service in the near term to our customers, and specifically when it comes to avoiding rail construction activity, we want to be a good partner. So that's an example of how through this working group we've been able to create a better system in the near term and bus access for our own passengers. Next, please. And then for long-term discussion, we want to ensure that we've got the best possible system on the ground when the rail is fully operational. And so we are looking at a long-term strategy of changing many of our bus routes so that they will feed into rail and take advantage of the regular, reliable service that will be provided on the rail. In particular, there's several long-distance routes that we think would be altered after the rail service is fully operational, and then we'll be looking for opportunities to reallocate some of those bus service hours to provide better Mauka-Makai service that we've identified as a need, to then bring those passengers down to the rail and ensure that they can continue their journey into their final destinations. Next, please. I want to just provide one example of some recent discussion that we've been having internally through this group. We have a proposed circulator system. This is still just, again, in thinking about it, and this is not the final version, but for a Kaka'ako, Ala Moana, Waikiki circulator type service that would connect to many of the urban center stations. This would provide access to Waikiki, as well as the Mauka areas, including universities and schools, hospitals, and other employment centers. And what we're thinking right now is we could use specially designed buses that would provide access for luggage and possibly run on electric battery power. We feel that the technology is rapidly evolving in that area. We've actually had discussions with HECO recently about partnering with them to use charging stations, and by taking advantage of these opportunities, we may be able to deploy these buses in Waikiki and other high-density areas to provide connected service from the rail. And by incorporating some other traffic engineering advancements, we may be able to improve the overall efficiency of those particular shuttles. running to the rail stations. For example, the graph on the lower left, you can see this is Route 8. This is our Waikiki shuttle currently that connects from Ala Moana into Waikiki. And only a third of the time, actually less than a third of the time, is the bus running time. Most of the time is due to traffic delays and passenger loading time. I don't know if you've been if you've ever taken the bus from Waikiki into Ala Moana, a lot of that time that the bus is sitting there at the stop is passengers fumbling with money, with coins and dollar bills, asking the driver how to get to places. It causes a backup just boarding. And then the traffic congestion and trying to negotiate that also eats up a lot of the time. What we're interested in is exploring ideas like all-door boarding, meaning people with passes would be able to use the rear doors. And remember, once we go to electronic fare collection, things like that are possible. Off-vehicle fare collection, where people could actually purchase their fare at ABC stores or at 7-Eleven, as well as ticket vending machines that may be at some of the major stops. With these types of advancements, we are confident that we could speed up the overall system, and using things like dynamic scheduling, where we don't actually have layovers. The bus would just run continuously between Ala Moana or the other stations in Waikiki. We could provide a better service and overall improve the overall efficiency of the system. So those are the kinds of things we're thinking about, and in fact, we're even interested in submitting this as a potential Tiger Grant application to get additional federal funding to run this type of system. But regardless, we think this is a great exercise in terms of thinking about how to provide the best possible service to complement the rail in the future. So those are the types of things that this group is working on. Next, please. And then there's been already some discussion about the multimodal fare collection projects. I won't dwell on this too much, but I think everybody knows at this point that we are planning a system that would rely on a smart card technology that would work on the bus, the rail, and the handy van, but also hopefully work for other transportation technologies as well, including parking, possibly bike share, maybe even some other opportunities for collaboration. So we've had a consultant helping us, and we have the project manager. I think you all know Whitney at this point, who's been fantastic in terms of picking up the ball and leading this project forward. We have a dynamic steering group that includes a lot of different agencies and departments, and the RFP is just about ready for release, and we hope to have the vendor hired within a few months. So that's definitely moving forward, and we're excited about the opportunity for that. Next, please. And then our rail station access program is another thing I wanted to highlight to you. As I mentioned, what we want to do is ensure that people can get to the rail stations. And what I mean by that is that some of these rail stations, as you know, are going in neighborhoods where in some cases we don't have a well-developed sidewalk network, or perhaps the existing bus system doesn't provide access directly to the rail station, but goes nearby. So we want to ensure that there's good bicycle access, good pedestrian access, opportunities for bus drop-off, for handy van drop-off, for other vehicle drop-off. And so we're going out station by station and identifying the physical needs, the opportunities that we can make to improve the physical streetscape environment around the stations to ensure that there's access to the rail stations, but also to encourage transit-oriented development activity around the rail stations. So we are planning to proceed with two near-term projects. One is the Waipahu Transit Center, and the other is Chinatown. Next slide, please. I'll actually talk about that. So we went out to Waipahu Transit Center, and we saw this as a major need. As you know, there will be a rail station there that will be providing access to the existing bus transit center. But when we went out and visited, we actually found that there wasn't even sufficient capacity now for the bus-to-bus transfers that are taking place. So we're very concerned that when rail opens, that there may not be adequate capacity for the passengers to make that transfer between bus and rail. So actually what we want to do is make capacity and safety improvements over the next year and a half using available local funds to make it a more comfortable environment right now, and also prepare for rail coming in the future. The second one is Chinatown. Again, we want to improve the overall ability of the neighborhood for people to get around and to provide access to the future rail station at the same time. So we plan to go in and make some pedestrian improvements at various intersections, as well as wayfinding and signage improvements in the near term, to help the situation currently and to prepare for the future rail station that will be coming to Chinatown. Next slide, please. That's it. So those are the things I wanted to highlight. So you can tell there's a lot of activity that's happening. A lot of these things are independent projects and independent studies that are happening, but this HART OTS DTS working group provides a forum for discussion about all the different things that are happening, and enables us to keep track of and look for further efficiencies and opportunities.
And that's going to do it for today. I hope you enjoyed watching those videos. On behalf of all of us on the project team, mahalo for joining us today, and we'll see you again next time for another edition of Honolulu on the Move.
If you have a question you'd like us to answer on our next Honolulu on the Move show, go ahead and hit us up on Twitter or Facebook, just two of the places where you can stay informed with up-to-date information on the Honolulu Rail Transit Project. And you can view our latest project videos on our YouTube channel. If you'd like more information on the project, or would like a presentation to your group or organization, give us a call at our project hotline at 566-2299, or contact us via our website at honolulutransit.org. You'll be able to keep up with the latest news and information about the project, important meeting dates, times, and locations, and examine the official documents that are guiding the project's planning and construction. Take some time to visit honolulutransit.org.